Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. Now, we had Deku. We also had Mina and Ken. Now, all of them were feeling the loss of Mark. Deku learned with the Omnitrix in his possession, this power is nothing to toy around with. It is a lot. He also learned one very valuable lesson. Sometimes you have to run from a fight, and sometimes you can't save everybody. Sometimes the bad guy gets a little victory, but you will win. And that was difficult. Mina was feeling the loss of her grandfather, and the fact that that was one of the closest people in her life besides her parents. Now, there was also Ken. Ken knew Mark for over 30 years. Those two went through hell and back with each other. And Mark, he made things quite clear. He sacrificed his life for his family and friends, and to protect the world in the Omnitrix. And right now, things have been a little difficult. Xylene went to talk to Izuku and Mina, and she was very blunt with Izuku. Shit happens, grow a thicker skin. Be ready for threats to come to you. He has the most powerful weapon in the universe on his wrist, and that means quite a lot. There are threats out there that will try to do this again, get the Omnitrix, or probably even try to take over his planet. And that was definitely not something that Deku wanted to hear. Xylene, however, did give Deku something. A code that should help him expand his horizon on the Omnitrix. Something to help him gain more aliens? He's not too sure what it did, because right now it hasn't done anything. Now, the plumbers dropped off the Rust Bucket and 3 in New Mexico, where they met Wes Green and his granddaughter Kai. Now, with that being said, right now everybody, they are on their first official plumber mission, and that has been quite a lot. And Deku, he was walking around, looking around the area and trying to understand a few things here. I mean, this is his first time out of Japan, and everything looks sort of interesting. Now, Deku, he's fascinated. However, he's also trying to stay focused and pay attention, be just a little bit more serious. And that is quite apparent. Now, Kai tried to talk to Deku and Mina. And Mina, yeah, she was kinda not really talkative, but there also was Izuku, who himself was not really doing much. He was just listening to their grandpas talk and focusing. But she actually did want to ask him a question about the watch on his wrist. And she finally does just want to speak up. So is that the Omnitrix? Hmm? Oh, this. Yeah, it is. You've heard of it? My grandpa made mention of it. Yes. Though, what exactly does it do? Oh, uh, that's a little complicated, and I don't know if you'll believe me. I already know that aliens exist. Oh, um, okay, so this just turns me into aliens. Really? Yeah, yeah. It's a very weird and high-tech device, but it's stuck to my wrist too. It doesn't come off. Now, Reno West is going to turn, expressing the Yinodushi is a very, very powerful threat. And the fact that he finally does have some backup to help deal with it does mean quite a lot. Though, he is worried as to whether or not they can all handle this. I mean, he's going to turn to Ken, expressing the device is still en route. And Ken is going to nod, for he's at least going to try and explain. The Phantom Zone, the Null Void Projector is a very powerful weapon, and it's what they might be able to use to take down this threat. And all the kids look at them kind of confused. the null who what's it now? No. There actually is Izuku, who does try to ask the question, what exactly does that do? And Candace tried to explain. It opens a portal to another dimension. And that already kind of lost them all. And that right now is where they're all at. As right now Ken and Wes are talking again, there is a loud sound. And Deku does something to look up, seeing that the clouds roll in and the sky darkens. And then there's actually lightning. And it does want to alarm them all, as right now, there actually is the Yinodushi, which does going to make an appearance after a massive wave of water just to run through the street. And there currently is Izuku, who the moment he does turn and see that, there actually is the grandfathers, who both yell out for everyone to get to higher ground. And Deku, his a turn. Right now, Mina actually going to bring her hands down and create a platform for her and everyone to somewhat stand on. And Izuku, he does want to stand there. Right now, him's going to fall to his feet when the platform is raised up and everyone is flying up into the air. And Mina herself is trying to keep focus. And that is easier said than done. Now, right now, everyone, they do want to stand there. And there actually is Deku, who right now he does a look down, trying to see if there's anybody who does need help. Him going to press down to the Omnitrix and go to actually slam down onto the button. Right now, him going to turn into Wild Vine. And the moment he does, he actually does get someone look around. And right now, Mina, she is talking about a few more things. Her trying to set this thing down a bit gently, as right now her powers do get to somewhat dissipate. And Deku, he does get a look around, as does a leap down and go into action. And currently there actually is Wes and Ken. The two, they are trying to look around and see if anybody does need help. However, Wes, he's a lot more alarmed by one thing. Since when he does look around and see the street, there's nobody down there. And he's worried as to whether or not they may be swept into the current, or if they might have, gone under. And it does worry him. But there actually is the massive roar he does get to hear. Him going to turn his head and take off running, since he thinks that that might be the creature. But the fact that it's out here in the day does concern him more. And Ken himself does go running off. Him pulling out his energy pistol and going to get ready. As the two make their way off in that direction. And there currently is Mina and Kai. Mina is trying to figure out what to do. Right now, her bring her hands down and trying to pull people out of the water. As Izuku, he is swinging around and trying to help people out as well. However, there is another loud scream. And it does mean quite a lot. Since Deku is to turn his head, seeing that Kai is in the water. And it does somewhat alarm him. Currently, Deku going to actually swing over. Him bring his hand down and going to actually throw it out. The vine's going to wrap around Kai as it'll pull her up into the air. Right now, him start holding her, asking her if she's alright. And she does just want to float there. Deku pulling her in and setting her down. As right now Deku does a look around. The Omnitrix going to beep as he does a look down at his hands. Oh, come on, not now. Him turning back into a human. As right now him and Kai do sit there on the rooftop, both of them soaking wet. And Deku does a look into the distance to see Mina throwing up her hands and trying to get their attention. And right now whenever Deku does at least wave up his own hand and Kai waves up her own hand, Mina does have a bit of a sigh of relief, since the water that struck the building, it knocked Kai off. And that, it worried her a lot. Now, eventually this flash flood does going to pass. And after everybody does gather together, there's a lot happening. People right now are going to be leaving the reservation, since whatever's going on, it's been amping up in intensity. And these attacks have been happening too often now. And Wes himself is a bit more concerned. It came out during the day, not at night. And that is a problem. But there also was that purple lightning. And it does mean quite a bit. And that is where he's currently at. And there currently is actually Ken. who himself does try to talk about it. If that's the case, then they can probably hunt at night. And Izuku himself does try to step in. Him is trying to talk about it to his grandpa. When the Omnitrix recharges, he might be able to use gray matter to narrow down the search area. Right now, the two gonna turn and stare at him, as Deku does try to talk about it. I mean, gray matter is the smartest alien in his watch. He can put stuff together and do a lot. I mean, maybe he can help. I don't know West is gonna turn. Him staring at Ken, asking him if he thinks it's possible. And Gramps is a turn, expressing to Izuku. Whenever the Omnitrix recharges, go ahead and do that. They're not too sure if it could be definite, but it would at least give them a good place to start. And right now Deku does want to sit there. Him in a towel, right as they look down at the Omnitrix. And it does immediately just go to shoot green, and he does stare down. Him more confused. Since the dial does it pop up and spin. And Izuku does it watch that before it's going to shoot back down into a dormant position. And he's a bit more alarmed. What's going on with the watch? That on Izuku's mind. As he's at least bring his hand down and press onto the button. Him going to actually... Wait a second. Who's this guy? Him staring down at the Omnitrix. He hasn't seen this one before. Okay, so... No, gray matter, gray matter. Him dialing in gray matter. And pressing onto the Omnitrix. Him turning into him, and currently guys don't stare down at the map. And there currently is Kai and Mina. The two, they were talking about a few things. And after they were able to get dried off and a change of clothes, it certainly was kind of weird. And Kai did even try to ask about this whole alien watch thing or whatever, since it does seem kind of strange to her. And Mina herself, she tried to explain. She's not really trying to question it anymore, but yeah. It certainly is kind of weird. Weird is one way to say it. Though, Izuku's quirkless. Yeah. Well, he is, or was, I guess. The watch helps him out. Plus, he's actually a really cool guy. Really? Yeah. Me and him have been friends for a while. Though, things have been getting a little weird. Weird how? Mina's went staring at Kai. And Kai, yeah, she probably should not have asked that question. Now, the two dudes won't sit there. And Kai does talk about it. She's kind of surprised, though. Surprised by what? Well, I mean, I'm quirkless too. And I know that a lot of people don't really, well, look at us the same way. Really? Yeah. I'm just sort of, I want to know what that thing's like. He's talked to me about it before. He says it's a cool feeling. I guess it just makes him a little bit more confident. Really? Yeah. Though, it does still make me worry about him. You like him, don't you? What? No, I don't. I mean, he's my best friend. I've known him for a long time. You like him. Shut up. No worries. Don't worry, I won't tell him. Though, I can kind of understand why. What? I fell for that. See, I told you you liked him. Now, Kai doesn't want to tease me now. And the two, they do somewhat laugh about it. As they do eventually head back to the RV, and currently Deku, he does want to sit there. And there actually is when the two do to step in and Kaida's gonna turn her head. Her going to see, what is that thing? Deku going to somewhat turn and stare at the two for a second. Him going to somewhat glance at them, and then going to look back down towards the map. Him trying to think. Okay, so far he's got 10 possible locations, all listed in alphabetical order. If the first one's wrong, then the second one should be correct. If the second one's not correct, then the third one should be correct. So on and so forth. Though, he does have a few more things mapped out in his head. Okay, so nearby to the scrapyard, nearby to the location, best coverage, and possibly underground cave systems. He doesn't know the information on those, but he knows plenty on the surface. Though, the fact that the caves are marked does help him out here, so, there is that. Now, Izuku, he does get to start hearing the watch beeping. I'm going to turn and yell out for his grandpa as he doesn't leap off the table. Him going to stand there as Ken does come to walk out from the front of the rust bucket, asking about it. Izuku might have figured something out. And Deku, he does want to turn. Him grabbing the map and holding it up, telling Gramps about how he kind of found out where they should start. Now, there actually is both Kai and Mina. The two, they want to be involved. But Wes has made things quite clear. The two of them can't, because of tradition. Right now, she has yet to prove herself. And that is a problem here. They might be dealing with something that's powerful, strange, and, well, of legend. And he does want her to be protected, but follow their ways. Now, he wants her to stay safe. Whenever she's more experienced, maybe she can get involved. However, this is too big for her right now. She's quirkless and doesn't have the proper training yet. However, Izuku, he can possibly handle himself, especially with this Omnitrix device. And that certainly does mean a lot. Now, there currently is the three. They do to head out, and Izuku, he has yet to transform into another alien. They try to search the first area, and there was nothing. They looked at the second, and found nothing. And then they was actually on their way to the third. Deku, he saw something move across one of the top of the mountains, and he immediately decided to try and go Stingfly. Maybe hunt this thing down and track it. And yeah, he got Heat Blast. Oh, come on. Well, he can fly with this one too. Currently, Deku's going to bend his hands down and send himself flying up in a gust of fire. And Wes is going to stare up, watching Izuku ride some flames up to the top of the mountain. And he actually is a little bit more surprised. Now, Deku's going to land on top of the mountain. Him going to stand there as he has a look around, looking down to see the prince currently in the dirt. And he doesn't give chase. Him going to follow them as he does find the Yinodushi. Now, Izuku, he does see the creature. It currently stalking the scrap pile. And it does want to sit there. Right now, it's trying to think about what to do. Trying to formulate a plan in its own mind. And Deku, he does want to stare on. Him bringing his hand up and sending out a powerful blast. Right now, the Yinodushi being sent flying off of the cliff and smashing down. It's going to let out a powerful scream as a loud crashing sound does alert Ken and Wes. Now, Deku currently does get to do a few things. And right now, he does get to encounter this creature. Him going flying down, trying to attack it. However, it does so somewhat going to stare up at Izuku. Right now, him going to start smash down and land. Him getting back to his feet as the creature, it does get somewhat stare on at him. It's stepping forwards as Deku's going to bring up his hand. Right now, him letting out some sparks as the creature does stare at him. It's simply just going to open its mouth and let out a powerful sonic scream. and Deku's a lot more surprised by that. Him trying to bring his hands up to block the attack, however, he is sent flying backwards, smashing down and melting into some of the metal. Now, Deku, he does want to sit there for a second, his ears ringing as he tries to get onto his feet. Him just going to shake off his head and get back up. Him going to go flying up into the air as he's trying to at least find out where this thing went. Now, there currently is Wes and, well, Ken. The two, they do try to track it down. And when they were able to get eyes on the Yinodushi, they tried to keep up. And there actually is Izuku, who does some flying overhead and right now trying to chase it down. As right now Deku has sent a blast in front of it and cutting off its path. It right now going to turn and leap up onto the wall. It being a scale, as whenever it does a turn, it is going to grab a rock. It chucking it right at Izuku as Deku does try to dodge out of the air. Him moving on the way as it blast at it. Right now him striking the side of the mountain and causing the creature to go falling down. However, he does is going to start knocking a few things off of the wall. And Ken is going to yell out for Deku, since he might cause a landslide. And Wes, he doesn't want to stare on. Currently, rock and rubble starting to fall off of the side of the mountain. And this does mean quite a lot. As the creature, it does try to get away. And Izuku, he does try to give chase to it. However, Ken does see a lot. Izuku's trying to hunt it down, cut off its path and make sure it's not going anywhere. I mean, capturing this creature is going to be difficult, though not impossible with his help. And there currently is Izuku. He finally does at least cut off the Yinodushi whenever it was moving through a path. And Deku, yeah. He currently does someone stand there. Him, right now, going to actually stand there as Heat Blast. Him in the front of the creature as Wes and Ken do come walking up behind it. And right now it does, so I'm going to turn and look around. We're now going to look at the wall and going to try and scale up. Deku bringing his hand up, blasting at the wall as the creature, it does go smashing back down to the ground. A boulder smashing down on one of its legs as it does want to scream out. And Deku, he does just want to stand there. As the creature, it does start hear one sound. And Deku's to look down at his chest. Oh man, not now. Him turning back into a human. Okay, that's not good. Now, the creature does just want to stare on at Deku. It bringing its hands down and going to actually smash into the boulder. It going to actually grab that one piece of it and turn, chucking it towards the two as Wes and Ken do to hit the deck. Right now the creature going to actually get back up and turn to Izuku. It rushing towards him. Now, Deku does go on the back foot. Him going to actually bring down his right hand and grabbing at the energy pistol his grandfather gave him, just in case. Now, Deku, the moment he does try to bring it up, the creature is going to lunge out to attack him. And Izuku, he has to bring up his left hand. And right now the creature is going to scratch the Omnitrix, as it also is going to cut into a part of Izuku's arm. And Deku, he is being sent flying backwards, smashing into the wall. The creature going to try and move towards him, as he does bring up the weapon. Him bringing it up and blasting at it. And now the creature, whenever is struck in the chest, it does this scream out in pain. It's going to turn and run off. Now, there actually is Ken, who the moment he got onto his feet, he came running over. And Deku, he had a few cuts and bruises. However, there was the fact that the Omnitrix, it was glowing yellow, and Izuku, he had blood running down part of his arm. And that made Ken a lot more concerned. However, Izuku, he did seem to be okay. I mean, it was just a scratch. And whenever Wes heard him say that, he made things quite clear. It's a problem. Now they have even more incentive to hunt this thing down. Before the night ends, otherwise Izuku, he might turn into one of those creatures. And Deku, he just stared down at the Omnitrix, because it's doing that thing it did back on the ship, but this time it's glowing yellow. And he's only seen red and green. So, what is this? Now, they did return to the rest bucket, and Mina and Kai, they both were somewhat still talking. Kai somewhat teasing Mina for her crush. And Deku, he was given some first aid. The wound was cleaned, and then he was bandaged up. And he did somewhat sit there. Him right now trying to think about what to do. And it does mean quite a lot. I mean, he just timed out and he thought he had it. He knew he had it. And it just makes him a little angry. He still needs to figure out the Omnitrix. Find that master control thing. I mean, he ran out of time. Though, Heat Blast was the wrong one here. Maybe Accelerate. Maybe... No, it's strong. It was able to throw a decent-sized boulder around and knock him off of his feet. I mean, yeah, he does still have some pain in his shoulders, but... He's fine. Wildvine. That would probably be the best one, right? Stop his mouth from doing that weird thing. Wait. Now, Deku does want to sit there. And he actually isn't going to look up to his Kai, trying to ask a question. He is confused about something. What is it? You guys have this whole legend around this thing, right? It's not a legend if it's real. Fair point, but what does it say this thing does? It's a powerful spirit. It hunts and harms people. Many aren't too sure, though it is said those who are attacked and scratched or bitten, they turn into this thing, become like it. Really? So it's a werewolf? I believe that is the term for it, yes. But we call it the Yinodushi. Okay. Again, but is there anything about it letting out a powerful sonic scream? Well, certain stories say this creature it is able to shake mountains with its roar. Okay, so, that's odd. Now, Deku's going to bring his hand up. I'm going to scratch at his neck. And Mina does want to stare on. As Deku, he does this one start to scratch around with his other arm. And, God, he's feeling itchy. Now, the two dudes won't stare on. As right now, Deku just won't go sit there. And he is trying to figure this all out. However, Mina does won't stare at the Omnitrix. Seeing the way it's moving and it's yellow. What's that mean? Now, it does not concern her. However, there actually is Kai, who is going to watch on and see Deku both get a little hairier and turn blue. And that is kind of alarming. Now, there currently is the two, who both do at least go to turn and get up from their seats. And Ken and Wes, the two are trying to remake another plan. They still have some areas on Deku's map they can search to try and find it. I mean, they found it whenever they were heading to number 3. At least Izuku did. So, I mean, there's still more locations to find. But maybe, just maybe, they can get this. And that does mean quite a lot. Now, currently the two, they came running out of the rust bucket talking about a few things. And there actually was where the two went back inside and they saw Izuku. Right now, him sitting there right next to the fridge, and he does just have a plate of leftovers from lunch. Deku bring his hand down. Right now, him going to grab handfuls of the food. And he actually is going to look up. What? I'm hungry. Him going to swallow the food and turn. Right now, him going to hold up a fried frog leg. Talking about it. You know, maybe Grandpa was right. I mean, this stuff is really good. It does taste a lot like chicken. Now, Ken does go to someone smile and give out a little bit of a chuckle. However, he is still somewhat nervous about what's going on. And West does try to explain what they need to do to take this thing down. Since, if they don't, Izuku will turn into one of these things and potentially harm people close to him. And that, it does somewhat frighten Izuku. And right now, they have a few things to do. And there currently is this creature, which, right now, it's headed back to its lair. It's putting together some more tech, as it does need a few more things. There's still one problem it's having, and that is the fact that it's missing a few key components, and it needs to find them. However, right now it does get to head out, and there currently is all 5 of them. Kai and Mina. These two, since they can't really go hunting, we're given a bit of a task. They are going to try and find a certain plant. If they can find it, then they can help destroy this creature. And that does mean quite a lot. All they need to do is hold up a silver coin covered in this plant juice to destroy the Yinodushi. It should take it down, and hopefully return Izuku back to normal. And that's the hope of it right now. And Mina and Kai, they head out, as Deku and the two head out as well. Now, Izuku, he is starting to take on a bit more of a wolf-like appearance, and it does sort of get somewhat concerning, especially because of how fast this does seem to be moving. And that means quite a lot. If they can't fully reverse this transformation, and Izuku does get stuck like this, what does that mean? I mean, they dealt with strange things before, but those were extraterrestrial. And this is earthbound. So, it's a problem. Now, while that's happening, let's cut over to Japan with a good doctor. The good doctor has been messing with his tech. Some of the stuff he's found and some of the stuff that he's been doing. And it's certainly been quite intriguing. He has been up to quite a bit of things. He's perfected his tech and may very well have reached a new technological achievement, especially because he's one of the first humans to crack this tech. Now, it does make the doctor somewhat laugh. He is a psycho genius. And soon, very, very soon, the world will know his name. However, while that's going on with the good doctor, there is another scheme in the background. Somebody, they, have been doing quite a lot. And unfortunately, Dr. Animo, he's not the one who cracked alien tech first. Since the good doctor here, they have certainly done quite a lot. And it will help them immensely. It will help them extremely. And right now, they already take it for a test. Since the heroes, yeah, they may have been able to make something quite beautiful. Though, they also are concerned. If it does not work, their achievement, it will be for nothing. They've already run it through initial test, and the calculations should be correct. With this power, with this machine, they can take down any pro out there. Because, I mean, why target the pro whenever you can target their abilities? Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.